things that the reason I'm good at this shit is just because I smoked 2 joints on the way over here from Hollywood right now.
There you go.
And that's QC, bro. It's not just like, I don't ever just smoke reckless joints. It's always
So you're
like,
basically always.
I'm always working when I'm
Because
smoking, bro.
that's what I was gonna ask you.
There's too much. There's not enough time out here to just be recklessly smoking. Bro.
Reckless. That's
You get what I'm saying?
You're never. I mean, you're having fun, but like
It's
consider
always my
smoking-
own product,
you-
bro.
you-
If I'm not gonna sell the product, then I don't ever smoke it. Even if it's unless it's like, if somebody like Ted's asking me for an opinion and it's one of my close friends, I'll lend my lungs to that situation. But even like most of the people that give me stuff respectfully, I just give it to my workers and stuff because I have work to do, bro. Right now we have 8 batches that came in this week. I have to smoke all these batches myself, and I have to spend time with them. It's like I can't just smoke them one time. It's like, we smoke one time, don't like it, that's fine. Fuck it, I'm not smoking anymore. But sometimes I like to smoke them throughout the curing process, smoke them after they've been packaged, smoke them after they've been, sitting in bulk before they got packaged. Like, just trying these different times
That's
to
some
where
game,
like I understand.
Yeah, that's some
And
game
so,
right there. On
so
the
I'm
tastemaker.
constantly like gauging my product. I'm never just smoking to smoke. Like, it's like, yeah, I smoke because I have a habit too, obviously, but I'm using that habit to make it like to work for me, because it has to be something that you come from a level of expertise. If you're not a consumer of this product, how are you going to be able to like master what this product needs to be like? So I'm coming from like, okay, yeah, I don't really like this one, and that's why I'm killing strains. You'll see me killing strains all the time, running through shit, okay, putting out stuff that I didn't like. Sometimes I put out shit and I'm like, damn, after the fact, I'm like, damn, I don't even think I really like that one. Like, I'm not going to ever run that shit again. You know what I mean?
Real talk though.
And it's like sometimes, and that's
Well,
just
so
me.
that was a question I was going to ask you. So on the first of all, I think it's hilarious that like you're always smoking. Not hilarious. It's cool and hilarious, but like real talk that like you're always smoking and working because you just want to go through the strains that much, and smoking something off basically business is like, that's a waste of my smoke because I need to smoke this much to make sure I know. But when you're taste making, so you got what you like, right? That's one taste, and then you're taste making though also for the consumers, because I would say if anybody on the planet, like you're naming top 5 tastemakers, like top couple, your name's in there, right? Like go fucking ask anybody in the game.
Make a top 5 list. I better be in your top 5.
I mean, arguably
list.
top 5.
I don't say too much, but I better at least be in the top 5.
Top 5
If
is
you're
like
gonna use the
easy.
word tastemaker, because
Yeah.
I feel like I was pretty close to the formation of that word. I don't know which one of my friends made that word.
Maybe top
first,
couple. I'll
but,
be
you know what I mean?
know,
Thank
yeah.
you, dog.
Yeah.
Hey, but with that being said too, you have to cross-reference. So I can't just be like, I deal with multiple cultivators. Where all my stuff comes from the railroad stuff up north, the Drew, and my guys down here in SoCal. I got a bunch of work right now from Angel City, so I have relationships where I give genetics to guys. The stuff comes back in. I'm constantly cross-referencing between facilities, comparing SOPs, and then sometimes part of this, when I say that I do it for work, sometimes I will stumble across one of the other guys that I feel the way, like, and I appreciate that accolade that you gave me. Sometimes I would feel that way about certain guys out here too, and sometimes I'll stumble across their flowers, guys like Wizard Trees, and like they'll give me something, so I'll smoke it, to cross-reference to make sure that we're all on, like, I'm on par with what they're doing too, because these are guys I look up to. Same thing with Teddy. When Teddy gives me something.
So if
I'm
you're
like,
gonna drop something, do you like? I don't want to say double check it, but like you get more input.
I usually do what I want to do when it comes to this, but I feel like most of my team and I have a real close consensus at this point. And like it's something that, like, not everything that I like is going to always be well received, and I'm cool with that at this point. I don't get like my feelings hurt, my emotions aren't really in this as much anymore as it used to be nowadays. I'm more like just business, and I want to create, I want to do the best that I can do. I want the service and the products and the strains that we come with to be shit that people enjoy. So if people are like, yo, we don't really fuck with this one, then I'm not going to cry about it. But at the same time too, I also have to have you have to have enough individuality to be able to like sustain through these kind of markets where people go to these single varietals and everything's revolved around candy. And if I would have like followed everybody's demand at a certain point, then I would only be having one strain on my menu. And so I couldn't always follow the demand. Like, sometimes there's going to be times where what we're doing isn't popping. And I've told people, like, I tell my team that all the time, like, sometimes there's going to be times, and from the outside looking in, maybe people don't understand those small waves, but it's like, for us, it's like sometimes things aren't always what we want it to be, but it's like, that's just the market reception. And then usually if you stay consistent, what we know to be good normally gets what comes back around.
Let me go back to the tastemaker thing, because I'm thinking about it now, and we kind of were like flirting with it, but I don't. Are you the OG tastemaker? Like the first one to really claim it? Like obviously
I
the
think
term
Burner. I think
Big Baby
Burner's,
Burner.
I think
Yeah.
Big Burn's the
Okay, we'll
original
give it to Burner.
tastemaker, you
But
know?
like of what's out there in the game, like that term, like when did it kind of? It's been
I
around.
started hearing that shit recently.
Yeah, it's not that old,
It's not
right?
that old.
Yeah, like because
Like first smoke of the day. It's probably one of the first times I heard
it,
that
right?
term. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like
They were talking about it.
I think there was at a time because there wasn't maybe as much variety as you could get. So there was the growers and the guys brokering it, and then I think this new like layer has come in between, which is super important, which is taste making, right? So just like we give Burner the original. He's kind of the original, I think, on most things in this game. A lot of us are just following in his footsteps. But the taste making itself, how old? What do you think? A few years old, and like how did that be? Like.
I think that taste making to like there's different levels to this shit. I think there's a difference between strain chasing and taste making. So there's guys out here that are out here looking for strains that are fire, pulling shit out of the market that they find through small cultivators and shit like that. These little gems, these needles in a haystack that they're finding and they're putting out there, and that's dope. That's like somebody that showcases product. I came from that. And that's a good way to build your foundation. Taste making, the way I would define it, is something that's a little bit more intricate of a process. Me personally, now I have used my network of the clones and stuff that I have access to, and given those to a reputable and close friend of mine who's a a known breeder who has been able to we work together to curate a roadmap of what we want to do genetically. And then we're now going through and selecting those, from that seed stock that we've created with the clones that I have to use, that I got brought to the table with him. So it's like having the genetic development process on our side to where we're actually steering that part. Then that's like what I feel like is real taste making. People like Teddy do that too. It's like basically if you're making the seeds and you're pheno hunting the seeds and you're finding the phenotypes and then you're rolling them out, and that's what you showcase is what you actually had production of the seeds, had some kind of hand in production of the seeds. I feel like that's true taste making.
How deep in the pheno hunting do you get, or you just kind of?
So I do, we sell seeds too, man. So like there's a lot of stuff that comes to me randomly that I don't expect to come, I'm not like really planning on. I mean, obviously I expect everyone to find fire phenotypes out of the gear they buy from us, but sometimes I'm not planning on shit coming back the way it does. I'll have guys bring stuff that is like crazy that they found in our gear, and I'll take the cuts back and put them in production. And some of the stuff that we're working with to further our lines, our keeper phenos that people brought us back, that was just shit that they bought from our seed stock. So it gets to be like where we only pop about 100 of each to test, to find our own phenotypes. I don't do huge pheno hunts. I don't have a lot of space. I work with Preferred primarily to do my pheno hunts, but the possibilities are endless when you are releasing seeds to the world.
I mean, how many would you say you smoked through to get to a strain on average, or like 3 strains or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends, bro. Because we have to, we're running like, there's another phenomenon of clone generations too, and the expression changing really significantly on that. Like I'm dealing with this number 8 coffin Motor Breath 15 coffin candy right now. We call it the hearse, and it was bred by Duke of Herb and then pheno hunted in LA by Angel City. And we have the second or third. So obviously they run the first round, and then they test if it's viable and shit, and then they were like, yeah, we can run this. And then we have now the second round, and the second round of it versus the very first testers of it, way different expression. It's almost like a whole different strain. So it's like you have to run things multiple times really before you can really like see what it's going to stabilize as, even in like even in the other direction. There's stuff that was really fire when we first were running it and people really liked it, and then it seemed to just like fall off pretty fast. And it was like, it wasn't the demand fell off, it was that like the shit changed a little bit. And people
you think even when you get to a strain, like it doesn't necessarily mean 4 generations later it's going to be good?
I don't think that. And I think that it can be, and I think that it can be for years. I mean, look at Gelato 41. But I also think shit can change, because if you think about, and I don't know, I don't know if we call that actually, it's some kind of form of genetic drift. A lot of people genetically will tell you there's no thing as genetic drift, but I think there's some kind of form of it, because if you look at even just like the 41 from back in the day till now is like, it's a little different. It's not the exact same. It's very similar, but it's changed a little bit. But that's one that's a good example. That and Skittles are genetics that have held up through the time, and I think that's kind of what like having a good strain is. Like, will it hold up for fucking 10 years? Are you still going to want to smoke it in 10 years where it's like, okay, that shit's still fire? Like, it's still, you can put it, and you can put a good batch of 41 and Skittles and some of these other classics out right now on with the best new weed, and it's still going to hit like that, you know? So it's like, I think there is something to do with finding the strong genetics, and I don't think everything stays, you know, not everything stays and thrives throughout the generations. So that's something we see too. So it's like, there's a lot of different variables. It's not just as simple as pheno. You asked about the pheno hunting. It's like, once you find that pheno, it's like, you can't even put too much, can't be too excited about that even, because then it's like, you know, that shit may change up for the better, for the worse. Like, you know what I mean?